Okay, so for today, another 335d, stage 3 this time. The engine of the car has completely been rebuilt last year. We have a pretty nice setup. We have a R90 fuel pump, hybrid turbos, all the usual deletes, downpipe, bigger intercooler, 50D rail sensor. We should have a nice setup to make some power. The car is, as you can see here, currently making 380 HP and around 800 Newton meters of torque. Curve is not that bad, so we just made ourselves a base map now, a stage 3 map, to look what it will make, just as a good starting point. From there on we will make some data logs, see how the car behaves, what it likes and what it doesn't. Okay, so we did just the first run with our base map. Pretty happy with the results just for a base map, but it's far from finished. The car is a bit smoky on top because we don't use the airflow sensor from a certain air mass flow, because the sensor just isn't able to measure all the air. So we still have to calibrate the volumetric efficiency maps just to make it match with what the engine really does. That's the only way to get the air-fuel ratio acceptable and within reason compared to what we ask in the map itself. So you can see we did a couple of runs on our base map. Numbers are quite close together to each other. So you can see on our base file we made around 990 Newton meters of torque and around 470 HP. If we review the data logs, we see that we still have to make a little bit of changes to optimize the tuning. So let's go ahead, do those ones, and then you can make some new runs, see what it does. File number 2, we made some changes to the map. Let it smoke a lot less, so we have to take out some power first to be able to calibrate everything. So let's have a look at what we have right now. So if you look now, you can see we are a little bit lower in power. We have 448 HP now and 950 Newton meters of torque. We take out the small peak of torque, and you see on top we have a little bit less as well. But you will see here that our air-fuel ratio still on top goes a little bit too rich to be good. Exhaust temperatures are not that high at the moment. At the end of the run, after 3 or 4 runs, we are around 640 degrees after the turbo. So that's not so high, especially not for a stage 3, but still we have to make some small adjustments to the map. So we are a couple of maps later now. We skipped some in the video because we were having some rail pressure issues. But you can see now we have now again around 460 HP and 966 Newton meter of torque. You see we gained some torque and power, of course, across the whole rev range. But not only that, with a little bit extra boost, we had a little bit less extra air. Like this, it means that we can keep the air-fuel ratio better in control, but also because of the leaner mixture, we have a little bit lower exhaust temperatures. So as said, we have a little bit issues with keeping up the rail pressure. There are a few possible causes for this. It can be an injector that has too much return, can be the high pressure fuel pump that's starting a little bit to wear out. Can be multiple reasons. We should address this one, and then maybe we can go a little bit higher on torque. I think for just stage 3 that is not a bad power output, especially because it's just a daily driven car, it's no track car. I know there will be a lot of questions of people who ask about 0 to 100 or 100 to 200 times, but I have to disappoint you because the car has just some Chinese brand tires, so for me it isn't worth the risk to measure those times for now. Just to take another look to the graph, at 2000 RPM we already have 770 Newton meters of torque. It has its peak torque at around 3000 RPM and the highest power around 3600 RPM. But if we look to, let's say, 4300 RPM, we still have 453 HP, so that's not bad at all. For the people who are interested, I can also show you the data log. So you can see here our boost pressure. Here the small turbo switches to the big one. You can see it holds boost pretty well. Activation of the turbo and of the wastegate valve is quite smooth as well, so that's as we wanted. You see here a little peak in the rail pressure, but as said, the car, the pump is just barely keeping up the pressure. If you go a little bit farther, we'll have some rail drops, but you see it here, it's already a little bit struggling, so that's something that has to be addressed later. So exhaust temperature, you see at the end of the run, we are around 629 degrees after turbo, so that's really low, especially because you have to know it's around, let's look at the dyno screen, but I think it's around 30 degrees here now, 27 degrees for the last run. And you also have to know that this particular log is from the third or the fourth run after each other. I think we may be happy with the results. Client will have a very nice, very fast sleeper car. We're really enjoying it.